Hey y'all, I'm Hummy from Hummy's World, and this is yet another lesson on one of the filters in Photoshop Elements. It's also, of course, in Photoshop, but I am in Photoshop Elements 11, but you can be in any version of Photoshop or Photoshop Elements to do this tutorial. And here is my little word art I made using the tiles filter. Now it's a unique filter. I'm not quite sure what the purpose is for it. With my quote that I chose, I thought, having a little maze like in the back would kind of go along with the quote about finding turning a page, what the next chapter holds. You're finding your way through the maze. Whether anybody got that or not, looking at it, I don't know. But this is what I did. So let's take a minute. I'm going to turn off some of these layers. Whoops. And get down to, this is a image that I took by accident in my with my camera of some grass, definitely overexposed. And when I got it home, I was like, that might make some great texture. I might be able to do something with that photo. And so I put that on here as my starting point. You can use, of course, any image. This one's awfully white. The tiles menu filter does utilize the foreground and the background color, or just one or the other, but you can set them both and then choose one of them. And so I think I just started out going with the green, from the photo. I just clicked around and I put a green from the photo in here. So think about what color you want to use before you do the filter. I'm going ahead and hit Control J to duplicate my layer and make this one invisible so that, that looks like white. I duplicated the wrong layer. Let's duplicate this one, and I don't even need that one, the plain white one. And I'm going to make this first one invisible. So I'm tucking it away for safekeeping in case I want to go back and use it again. This filter does permanently make changes on your image. So go to the Filter drop-down menu, Stylize, and Tiles. Now this is supposed to make like mosaic tiles. And here is the pop-up box that comes up. So it's not in the filter gallery. It just has this pop-up box. And we're going to skip this area and go down here. You can see you can choose the background color, the foreground color, inverse image, or unaltered image. And you see you can only choose one of them. So what you can do is just play with it. I found because my image is so white that the inverse and the unaltered image didn't do too much to it. So I'm going to choose foreground because that's the color I specifically chose. Now the number of tiles is the number of tiles that you're going to have both horizontally and vertically. So obviously with only 10 tiles, that's going to make this them fairly large. I mean, even 5 would be really large. We can play around with this a little bit and see what they do. The number in the maximum offset box, this one here, it comes up with a default of 10%. It allows you to control the amount of movement of each tile. So the tiles might be offset, a whole bunch if you go way up, maybe to 99%. and they might be very precise down here at 0%. So let's just see what happens. Number tiles 5, 0, we're going to have very precise squares. Oh, you have to choose between one. Sorry, very precise squares. So if you're looking for something that's, you can scroll in, you can see these are very, very precise squares that are here, and they're pretty large. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's hit Control Z and go back up, and let's try and see what it looks like if we have 99 on the offset. And then you're going to get something much more random. They're all squares. They don't turn at all, but you can see they're more offset. They're not all precise and in line with each other. Very, very much more random. So Control Z, and let's go up and play some more. So I'm going to go ahead and just leave this around 10%, the recommended, and let's make it like 30 tiles. And you can see it made a whole lot more tiles than before. So there are now 30 tiles going across and 30 tiles going down, and it really makes an interesting pattern. So here's what you can do to make this a little bit more fun. You're going to remember I had mine just on a white background, and I had actually a layer style with mine. And here's how I did that. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. I'm going to find my selection tool. Let's get the tool options up. My magic wand tool, and I'm going to make sure that the contiguous is off. I really don't want to sample all layers, just the layer I'm on. Make sure contiguous is off, and go ahead and click down right in that foreground color that you made. So now it's selected over the whole thing, all of those random tiles. I am going to hit Control J to put those on a new layer, and I'm going to make this original invisible. And I think that's why I had my white background layer. I'm making that white background layer again. Actually, it picked up some of that green from the image because I used a color from the image. Interesting. So you would want to maybe get a color for your foreground color that's not anywhere else in your image in order to do this. So now I have my background white layer and just the lines and a little bit of extra grunge, which is actually kind of cool. I like grunge. On its own layer, and I'm going to go ahead and go to my layer styles, and I'm just going to choose a bevel, and let's put a bevel on them and see what it looks like. That, am I on the right layer? I'm on the right layer. There we go. So now we've got a bevel on them, and that is pretty cool, but I want it to go down, so I'm going to choose this simple pillow emboss. Ooh, and now it looks like it's embossed into it. And so if you're doing this with you know, something other than a white background, let's say I'm going to fill this with green. Oh, wow. See, now there you go. That's getting pretty cool. Now you have an embossed layout. But with all the various things that you can do with layer styles, this just opens up all sorts of possibilities. So let's choose, I don't know, a chrome and apply it. and you're going to see you get something totally different. You can open up this. Of course, in the full version of Photoshop, you got even a wider range of what you can do with layer styles. And I want this one to go down instead of up. So it looks like it's going down into the image. The drop shadow seems much too high. So you can keep playing around. Let's change the opacity. So there we go. See, there's a whole nother look. And if you wanted to, you can even go back in and play with, let's see, blending modes. Let's do a screen. That did not do too much. Multiply. Ah, there, it changed it even more. And so I don't know what else you can do with this. You might, here we go. I'm just thinking things off the top of my head. Let's add a layer mask. And remember, white reveals, black conceals. So I'm going to go get a brush. Let's get a... I don't use Photoshop Elements 11 too much. I honestly don't like it, the interface. So I don't know where everything is very quickly. So I'm just going to get a random kind of grungy looking brush. And oh, I'm going to Control D. Let's see. Let's bring that toolbox back up. And I'm going to lower the opacity on this brush because that just did it too much. Make sure I'm on my layer mask, and I'm going to kind of mask out some of this. So if I had a background that was really a cool texture, you know, I can be creating textures with this for a background. So there we go, masking out part of it to create some texture on a background for a layout. So use your imagination, think up some cool thing to do with it. Some of these styles in Facebook, or not Facebook, in Photoshop are just kind of interesting. Let's see, where's that white? I don't have a white background anymore. Let's see, there. So that's my original that I did. I used it with a layer style, made it subtle in the background. I can't wait to see how creative you are with this tiles background. Tiles filter. I said that wrong. It's been a long day at work. I can't wait to see what you do. Have fun.